Hey there, YouTube. So what we have today is my pastor's trailer. He peddles health food, Little Debbie's, and what we got is we need to do a good check around it and a good service. So we're gonna grease the wheel bearings, but thankfully these right here's got those easy grease certs in the center. Just pop them out, grease them up. We're good. If you get one of these trailers, one of the biggest issues they start having is these screws will work loose, and what that does is allows these panels to start bouncing, and when they start bouncing they start cracking out and everything. So we're going to go through, grease that, check all these right here. We're going to lift it up, check the axle bearings, make sure the bearings are still good, before we grease them. Put a little grease back here. And the next thing that he's having a little bit of issues with is he's got some screws missing out of the floor. So what we got is a box of screws and some Loctite down there, and we're going to try to put some Loctite on them and see if that'll help them stay in there. We'll probably go through and snug these up just a little bit, all the ones that are on here, just to make sure. The way I'm seeing it, if I find one that's pretty loose, we'll back it out and put some Loctite, put it back in there. Some of these that are drilled down pretty far, like those, I don't want to pull them out because there's a possibility of messing the floor up. We don't want to do that, so this is what we're going to do. First things first, we'll take and pull the carts out so they're not in the way. All right, YouTube. So got new screws put in here, and I'm gonna have to admit, I'm pretty disappointed in the way this place was built, but it is what it is. Now we have some new things. As I said, I'm gonna walk around and inspect everything. We got these right here. They're loose. So let's go ahead and take these off and tighten them up. And that'll secure them, make sure they're all good and tight. That's the last thing I want to do is to have it returned to me. So put you guys back on time lapse and we'll loosen those off and put some Loctite on there. I may put blue on those because you may have to take those off eventually. Alright, YouTube, so now we got all that done. What we're going to do now is we're going to go through and we're going to check all these screws right here. We got a couple that are loose. Any of these that I find that are loose, I'm going to put a little bit of dab of red Loctite on there and zip them back in there, like this one right here. When I get to it, I'll put a little dab of red Loctite and run it back in there. So that's the task now. All right, YouTube. So we stopped on this side. I'm gonna do the next side. So what ended up happening is we had some of these right here that they stripped out, and so I pulled them out and we just put these on there. Quite a few of them. It's really disappointing on how many on this was stripped out, but it is what it is. We got it going, and gonna put y'all on time lapse again. We're gonna work here on the front end of this one, and we're going from there. Plan is to get all these checked and tightened down really good. I have noticed that all these, like up here towards the top, they're all in good condition, all tight. I guess just because it's thicker metal. But I am going to check the diamond plate here. I'll check those, and I'm going to check all these right here, and then we will come back and do the other side. So no more talking. Let's go ahead and put y'all in time lapse. We'll get this done. All right, YouTube. So we pulled out all of the screws that were stripped and put new ones in. The next thing we need to do, and I have not done the bottom of this yet. I will do that in a second, or in a little bit. I figured I want to do a quick walk around on the inside of this thing, make sure that the inside is good to go, and I'm gonna put the carts back in there. Then I'll close it all up, and we'll, look at the back of this thing, and then we'll start doing the bearings and checking all the axle stuff. So I'm not going to put you on time lapse to put the carts in, so I'll bring y'all back. All right, YouTube. Of course, I didn't record the back of this, tightening up the screws in the back, because it's just the wind's starting to pick up and everything. We are going to move along to greasing the wheel bearings. Now these right here have that zert where you can grease through it, and we're going to do that. I do have it jacked up, as you can tell, so we can start greasing it and spin it a little bit and grease a little bit more. You're just going to grease inside there until it starts coming back through the other bearing. While it's up and we're looking at it, why in the world would we not want to go ahead and go over the top a little bit, to lack of better words. Let's check all the springs and everything. It's here, we got it, and I can tell you right now, just by looking at it, all bearings or all bolts are good and tight. Oh yeah. Yeah, we're doing good. Now, peel this off. I already had this off once a day just to make sure that it had this, because I had to buy grease for it, because I knew I was out in my grease gun here. And of course it's gonna fight me the whole way. Here we go, here it comes, here it comes. Uh-oh, don't go all the way in there. You don't want that. There we go, coming out, boom. So, should have brought a rag over here. Let me go grab a rag. There we go. So we're going to grease that It just hooks up right in the center. Now my grease gun is that's a pain, so oh, now it's gonna work. It's coming out. Let's spin her around a little bit. And I forgot to show y'all, but when I first picked this up, I did shake the wheel back and forth. See, she's good. Oop. Getting pretty close to being out of grease, which is why I bought more. Clean this up. Grease came out, so she's greased up. Folks, be good. If you're gonna do something like this and you're doing it for somebody, make sure you wipe everything down. I can't tell you how irritated I get whenever I'd have somebody do something to my car, and you know, something simple as just wiping that off so you don't have grease everywhere or your kids don't walk by it and touch it. We're all good. What we're gonna do is we're gonna put you on time lapse, and we'll go do the other side. And thinking we're done with that, I'll get my tire gauge out and we'll gauge these. They're pretty worn out, but he knew that, so we'll go to time lapse. Well, there we have it, YouTube. Got all the screws pulled out of it that were stripped and replaced. The rest of them tightened up. Screws put on the floor. And Jeremy, if you're watching this, I see what you mean now. By what was needed to be done on the floor. Yeah, we got them. We got it all fixed. With getting all this fixed, we got a bunch of bolts that were loose, tightened up. Wheel bearings are good. Did do the gap on the tires, and I'll fill it out on the receipt with it. Wheel bearings good. They are packed with grease now. Went ahead and down there, it's hard to see it, but the hinges on this trailer are actually greasable, which I thought was pretty neat. So you should up and down a little bit easier. Got all this right here repaired and replaced. The only thing I have not checked yet is the lights, and I will check that before I take it back to make sure. But this is the end of this video. Sorry if the quality of the video is a little bit less than normal. We had baseball size hail. Last night, and we got some work to do on the camper now, if that makes any sense. It got the roof, and it got the old stroke here. There's just a couple of them right there, and right there. Whoosh. Got the Dodge too, but that doesn't have full coverage. Now the pickup is underneath the tree. It's good. Now, just so we can get everything kind of done here or talked about, if you joined for the pickup, I've got more videos coming. Okay, I just ordered a cooling fan for it, electric cooling fan. It's gonna go in there. So we got to flush the radiator. Other things to do to it, but that's the next video. It should be coming out on it. The camper, if you came in for the camper, we've got some videos coming out for it. We got some damage that happened on the roof. I don't know if the roof itself is bad, but some of the covers got damaged. We'll replace them. If the roof is bad, I'm not replacing that. It has insurance. Insurance will cover that. Also have a sewer line that we're going to run. I've talked about before, downside of the camper here, right down in this area. So that video's coming too, plus the vents on it for the air or the refrigerator. Again, I apologize for the quality of the video. I couldn't use my phone today. I had to use my iPod. So it may not be as good. But all that's left to do, I'm going to go inside the house and I'm going to make out the receipt for this, and I'll guess while I'm making the receipt out for it, I'll upload this. Till next video, guys.